Are we the only ones here?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, we had two for a second
It's
there.
probably us and them.
I didn't mean
Hey!
to do that. Oh, look at it there.
See? We didn't even know how to hold you in a waiting room.
Oops. That was my bad.
That's exactly right. See, even when we think we got it together, Emily, we still no idea what we're doing. It's the best. It's Matt and Stephanie Regitz.
Hello,
friends.
You guys are on your porch. I love it.
I wish we were on your porch, but soon and very soon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about your porch, man. What do you got going on behind you?
Well, there's a little Astros fanfare back there, so
is that what that
ready
is?
for? Well, there's probably a lot going on.
Bless this mess.
Oh, that too. No, it's funny. This porch, when we moved into this house, it was just that little square concrete pad outside our back door with the awning that might cover you. And then we lived that way. God, how long? Like 15 years in this house like that. And then finally, we should build a porch. Well, I say we, like I got out here to hammer nails. But then now it's like our favorite room in the house.
Yeah. That's so true, man. I love outdoor living spaces. So
just a note, what is it, like January 20th, and I'm outside?
Yeah. We're kind of being wusses right now because this would have been probably the best time to get out on the porch, actually, because this is our third Wednesday in a row, and before it was super cold and rainy, and so we were doing it
right.
Tonight would have been okay, but it's kind of misty. Is it misty up there?
It is a little. It's a little, but here's the deal. It's either misty outside or crazy inside with my 4 children.
Yeah.
Your house is really quiet, speaking of, since you have twice as many children as me.
Yeah.
That's why we were on mute earlier.
We were on mute for the first 2 minutes of the live.
Because it was not as quiet.
And you might notice that I'm missing
that's true.
person here next to me too. So yeah. She's putting Oliver to bed, our little guy that we introduced you to earlier.
Yes.
Man.
Our little guy puts himself
Paulatino's here.
Hey.
Hey, bud.
He was literally just here setting up all this.
This beautiful camera.
Yeah.
Are we lagging? So how are we lagging?
I think their video is lagging a little bit. It's not as bad as it has been in the past. So the internet's definitely
Is it lagging on the internets?
Yes.
It is. It's frozen. The whole thing's frozen.
No, they're.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're moving, sort of.
We'll just move less. We'll do some smaller movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little.
That is how we take care of that.
Sorry I'm late. What I miss?
Nothing.
Oh man, can't even catch you up so much.
Yeah, we solved it all. Actually, we're done.
Oh, it's Claire, not Paul.
Claire.
Oh,
Hi,
Claire.
Paul. Hey.
With Paul's face.
Look at that handsome man.
I don't know. Oh, Stephanie, Matt, how are you?
Hey, friends.
Hanging in there, just like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Right.
Hanging in there. Hanging in there.
Man, Matt, I am I'm loving everything that's, coming out of Divine Renovation, man.
Man, it is super exciting. It's a ton of work. Praise God. I mean, exciting and a ton of work is always still fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like this crazy environment, like we already know how weird it is to go to church and to figure out if churches are opened and if you're allowed in and what the protocols are. And in this environment to try and help churches figure that out. It's exciting, but it's also like, let's try this. Maybe this will work. It's just everything is kind of a throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like just a new world, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like Divine Renovation was already set up to be innovative. It's like
Well, it was
nobody is saying anywhere in any of the parish movements that they've figured it out.
Oh, well, if they are, I'm scared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that the cool thing about Divine Renovation is like it's so grassroots. It's actually from people who've worked in
Done.
parishes and are still working in
Right.
parishes, and it's kind of everybody's figuring it out together. There's a certain number of things that we know about parish and its role in the life of the family, but yeah, COVID came at the right time, because I feel like there's a moment here now where we can leave all, Control Alt Delete, where you like get another chance, like to save the
right.
computer. It's like we have this chance to just completely reset, and then when you when it reboots and it opens up, there's like a folder that says old bullshit.
Right.
Isn't that is a folder on your desktop though?
Yeah, I have those. and then we get a chance to say we want it or we don't. Like, no, we don't need that anymore. Or actually, I want to go in the old bullshit folder because there was a really awesome,
aspect
that we
right.
had going on, and now we can keep that, but we get to sort of pick and choose what we restart and how we restart and that kind of thing. I mean, I could be totally off.
No, you're right. I mean, one way we put that is, let's not get married to our methods more than our mission.
Mm.
And in a Catholic Church, right? I mean, how easy it is for us to say, oh, well, when I grew up, this is how we did it. And, well, this is the book we used. Oh, well, that must be still how we're supposed to do it. Because I think it's, how do we figure out how to take this timeless power of the gospel into space and time, into our culture at this moment in time, without losing the effect of the gospel? Well, it's not to make sure that we do it the same way we've always done it. It's just to make sure that the gospel's the same gospel we've always
right, especially when the way we've always done it, right, might go back like 20, 40
Yes, right.
years,
That's right.
Depending on who you're talking to,
We have the same problem with the word classical at St. Constantine. People are like, well, it's old, so therefore it's classical. You're like, no, that's not really what classical means. We've been doing this for 40 years. It's ancient.
It's a classic.
Yeah, it's a classic. That's not a classic.
Right.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with traditional.
Mm-hmm.
When we use the word traditional in the church, where we sometimes misuse that term, because something that was just a 30-year-old tradition has nothing to do with the big T.
Right.
Sacred tradition.
Right.
That's so different. Yeah, it's so different. So I love what you said there, that there's a amount of effectiveness that we can have during this time. Like, how are people doing this? Yeah. What have you seen, and what are you telling parishes that are coming to Divine Renovation to, because I mean, watching Mass on YouTube is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I don't want that to be the future of what we do. So what are you guys saying?
Well, first, why don't you share just what it's like for me as a coach now, working with these guys in a crazy environment. I'm coaching there's about a dozen parishes around the world, and then some other things we're doing, but she gets to be a fly on the wall for a lot of these conversations that I get to have.
Right. We're still here. The camera
Yeah.
needs to be reset. Sorry.
Yeah, I want to hear what's
No,
Yeah.
I love that he's able to pour into so many people who have the energy and inspiration to be innovative and are honing in on how do we reach people in the best way they individually as a family get reached. And also, I mean, not necessarily specific to Divine Renovation, but recognizing right now, how do everyone pour into families, because
Yeah.
families,
Right.
you know, are needing ways to feel connected, A, to each other, or B, to other families, or how to bring their spirituality back into the home in a daily, without being mundane way.
I think that's interesting too, because, you know, we've used the term before because, like, St. John Paul II said domestic church. I mean, your family, my family, we're committed to domestic church life and what that means. But I feel like in this season, because so many people are spending more time as a family just because of the pandemic, or they're having to figure out things like, oh, well, we used to go to church for youth group. Well, we can't do that. Or we used to go to church for mass. Well, maybe we're not still doing that. So all of a sudden, this identity of domestic church is no longer this theoretical papal document reference. It's more like, oh, okay, well, I'm actually kind of doing church as a family every night. And
What does that mean? So, like, when you say domestic church, like, you know, we all know what that means, but I mean, what is that? What is that? Like, I've questioned that, because I think when I was younger, I thought, you know, I actually had to act like the church here, right? Like the idea is that you're praying often, and you're talking about the, you know, like you're passing on this thing.
Pastor.
Yeah, like domestic church, meaning I'm the pastor, you know. But what is that? I mean, and as I'm growing older, I feel like, man, it just, I get to imitate God the Father and his paternal love. Like, what does it mean to be forgiving? What does it mean to be merciful? What does it mean to be virtuous or pursue wisdom? What does it mean to love, and those sort of things, as opposed to being church at home? I mean, I know you guys do a great job at that, but I mean, I think for a lot of people, domestic church is sort of, it's one of those things we
still
use
sounds
so
unattainable.
often. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
I love, like, your
I
sign,
mean,
bless this mess, right?
Yeah. I made that with my own hands.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good thing to ponder for families, because for me, it's like, is there a rhythm? Do we have ways of treating each other? I mean, not to get all like super special cool on all this, but we developed a family core values during the pandemic. What do we stand for? What does our family believe? What are the non-negotiables in our family? We came up with 5 of those, and then from there, it's like, do we have like a rhythm of our life? Do we have like a rule of life, or some expectations, like how we want to treat each other? Is dinner important at home as much as we can? Praying at night, is that important? Chores, are chores important?
Right. Like,
Are you
what actually
into
takes
schedules?
priority, right?
Are you guys
Yeah.
you guys are into that scheduling? I love it.
Well, what's funny is we're both P's when it comes to like Myers-Briggs.
Personality type stuff.
So
A little more spontaneous.
So we're less into schedules as into a pattern, if that makes sense.
For sure.
So like we try to create patterns of like, when we get in the car, we pray, you know, or on our way to school, and trying to create times consistently. Obviously, we pray before we eat.
Sure.
Whether or not we're eating the same time schedule every day.
But it's not just prayer rhythm. It's also like, we came out on the porch to set up for this, and we didn't have to beg our kids to clean the kitchen. They just cleaned the kitchen.
Because that's the rhythm of the home. I love that
That's
word.
the rhythm.
I love that rhythm.
Hold on, I'm gonna go check something.
You're gonna see if your kids clean the
Is there a clean kitchen in there?
Our children. Our children did not.
That's
clean
because
the
we
kitchen.
ate 5 minutes before
Oh.
we started the stream.
True story.
Just kidding.
We're
What about
our kitchen's unavailable at the moment, but
what about sex? Do you schedule sex?
wow.
I think we froze. I think
Good timing.
Well, hello? Is this thing on?
We don't schedule sex.
Well, there's a rhythm with that too.
Yeah. I think some of these rhythms, right, are like just logistical. Like
sure.
It makes sense for us to carve out one night a week, you know, to create content, as lame as this is. Are there
So
anyone?
lame.
Are there any people
This is
watching?
So lame.
The best part about these things is I get to catch up with my friends. It has
Yeah.
nothing
No,
Well, that's true.
But like,
this is
but
a
like,
date,
have to do
this
it.
is a date night for us, whether anybody watches our date night or not.
Date night.
Exactly. That's what this is about.
Yeah, that's true. So I mean, yeah, it's just like logistically carving out the priorities and saying we will make time for this. I think that is like it's so key, whether or not you stick to the schedule. Because I think like also, I don't know, there's just seasons, right? Like baseball season.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Right.
I mean, I'm not just talking about seasons of life, but like baseball season is different than
Right.
other, seasons of the year.
Well, I mean,
where
it's true, like actually in nature too. I mean, our season.
hunting
Yep.
season.
Right. Well,
Different.
yeah.
Hunting.
Spring, summer, fall, they're all
Yeah.
different.
When it
and
gets
we all-
dark earlier,
Right.
Right.
a lot easier to
Yeah,
put kids
we
to
light
bed
a lot more
earlier.
candles in the winter.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
We
No,
wanna
I think
get
that's true.
cozier
It's
in
true
the
also.
winter.
Yeah.
It's true also, any like it doesn't have to. I think too often we're ready to tie emotion to it. Like, I just want to do what I feel like doing. But if you can choose things, like you said, like, it's logistical. I don't have to feel like cleaning the kitchen. I don't have to feel like praying. I don't have to feel like having sex. Like, we should just carve time out for those things.
Right.
Right.
Somebody's got to have to do the dishes. Somebody's going to have to.
Oh, what did you say?
No.
Oh,
No,
it's
they're
delayed.
listening.
Right.
That was delayed.
Somebody's going to have to. Yeah.
I'm dumb.
It is. No, it is really delayed. I wonder if
Yeah.
is it delayed on YouTube like that?
Yeah, it goes back and back
It's
and
back
forth.
and forth.
Okay.
I gotta figure this out.
Yeah. I wonder what that is.
That's
Is that
great.
y'all's now?
No,
No way.
theirs is so fast.
It's so fast. I know. So can I try the monitor? Let me just try it.
You always say that.
I know, but
Do you want me to just unplug
we're
it?
bad at this,
No,
but
I'm telling
you know,
it's
poco
a-
poco. We'll
Hey, look, there's Annie's eyeball.
can I hit it just in case?
Oh.
Yeah, you probably should.
Just this.
So basically, we have a monitor, like a TV set up, so we don't have to we could see y'all and kind of look at the camera, or we have my computer that's like right here.
It doesn't matter.
It's
It
gonna
doesn't.
fall.
And then
It doesn't matter.
And then it
And
doesn't.
now-
And now, is it any faster?
No, it's
It's
not.
not? It's not.
If someone ever watches this and knows how to
Yeah.
speed this up,
This
let
is
us
like the
know.
best. This is the best case for just going like,
another
we
program.
need somebody. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
To like help.
the 10 people.
Somebody
that
step up. Whose
That's
gifts?
right.
Whose gifts?
I'm telling you. It's,
Or just pay Dom more money to figure it out.
I know, Dom. You need.
I've been telling y'all it's the
He
program.
actually has.
It's the program we're using.
No, I don't
No,
think
I've
it's
seen eCam videos
No.
that are really great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I gotta. There's a
You-
Facebook
then
community.
You have an.
There's a Facebook community.
I'm on it. I literally. I get.
She's a part
I
of the Facebook
when I
group.
scroll Facebook, one of the things that pops up it's either the Casita Life group or the eCam community, and I get a ton of tips from the
How-
eCam thing.
yeah.
So
I don't-
what tip can they give us?
I don't know. Every
Probably
week I
at
Google it.
least
Uh oh.
16 gigs.
What just happened? Did you just plug it back in?
Yeah.
Oh.
Probably
Okay.
at least 16 gigs on the computer.
So anyway, so is
Back
there
to-
is there any is there anyone else here? Yes.
No, it's
What?
just
No,
It's
Claire.
just hey
Just
Claire. Anything
Claire
to
actually
anything to add,
wants
Claire,
one.
or she just turned it on?
Because she feels like if Claire leaves, that our whole audience leaves.
I mean,
She's
there's
like,
a couple
"I'm
people that
watching."
eventually watch it. It really does not matter.
Yeah.
I could care less.
Oh, I
Couldn't
do.
care less?
No, I really
Couldn't-
do.
couldn't? You do care?
Yeah,
Okay.
I really do.
Okay.
This is the thing, man. Like, I don't care to work hard at getting people to come to our page, but I do care that this message.
That's fair.
I
That's fair.
do. I care about. I love. Man, I wish we lived closer. And
Mhm.
until you close on a house, I am not going to relent. Mark my word. You are the
Well,
most
we're kinda-
eligible. You're the most eligible on the move couple in the city of Houston, and I'm just saying that.
We've got a great neighborhood.
We've got everything. There's
Well, if you
nothing that you
remember,
can't find in Southwest Houston that doesn't suit.
I thought we had a chance to land in the Hickmans to the northwest side of Houston once upon a time.
Once upon a
Never.
time.
There was that
Mate,
little
yeah,
window.
what was make me an offer, man. I
prefer
mean, what do you
mid.
have for me?
I'm not moving to the west side.
No, you've put too much heart now into this new place that we can't wait to see.
Yeah, I only saw the before picture. I only saw when I was helping you move in.
Oh gosh, it's changed.
There's floors here.
We have floors
So
and a shower and a bath.
Don't talk
The
about
little-
it. I'll get emotional.
It's wonderful.
Well, we
Oh,
might
we
be on
can't-
the move, as you know. We're looking now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Sorry, I'm
We
out of the
just
loop.
got a storage unit like last weekend to start.
That's a big deal. That's a commitment, right? It's like we
Yeah.
committed.
So,
That
so
was
you're
kind
gonna
of
try to stage the house? Is that part of like the deal, or not? But whatever. Clear
Yeah.
out things that. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've
That's-
been here 20 years and
Yeah.
you just got lots of stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
and
the
you
plan.
think you were living simply.
I know, and you think
I
You're
there's
like,
stuff
oh,
that-
we were living simply.
and we got rid of
Simply
so much
with
stuff.
all this stuff.
That's why you move into a trailer, so you just can't fit anything in it.
That's
So
Ah.
that's the
Perfect.
key.
You figured it out.
That's
Yeah.
actually one of my favorite parts of my closet now. Is that like
If it
there's
does
like
fit.
it's so pretty that if I was to
Mm.
add more stuff, it wouldn't be pretty anymore.
Mm.
So
Uh,
it just
But
has to like.
you have always been so good at like capsule wardrobe. I feel like every time
Oh.
I've walked into your closet, it seems like you everything you have in there you love and you wear it and
Yeah, I try really hard to do
Yeah.
that. But you know when that happened?
uh-huh.
Oh
Hey, Renee's here.
yeah. Oh hi Renee. Well, I was fussing. Sorry.
Paul or Claire, we're around, but putting kids away. I love
Putting
that.
kids away. Go away,
Like
kids
putting
away.
putting them
bed.
in drawers.
in drawers.
Fold them up, put them away. No,
Fold 'em up.
Matt, I was fussing at Madeline. She was like, I don't know, somewhere between like 9 and 13 years old, somewhere
Somewhere in
around there.
Yeah.
And I was fussing at her about how messy her closet was. And she came back at me with, you cannot fuss at me about how messy my closet is until your closet is clean. And my closet's been clean ever since. She
Things
was
like-
right. It
Adam.
was a disaster. There was
Oh
like
my gosh.
stuff all over the floor, whatever. She was right.
Dang.
No, I mean, granted, like obviously, there's
You
know,
go through phases.
I go through
yeah,
phases.
moments.
Sometimes
yeah,
I have
yeah.
to like clean it up a little more, whatever.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
nothing like.
So now you can still fuss at her.
Now I can fuss at her
Yeah.
again. Yeah,
Yeah.
mhm. And I still do because
Yeah.
it's her closet's rough.
Yeah, but if
You know.
she, if her closet was pretty, she'd probably
closet is
keep it
pretty.
Yeah. Mm.
Not as pretty as mine.
ours. It's so oh gosh, man. I can't even. You got to come see it. Yeah. It's literally.
Yes.
We're just.
Yeah, it's exciting.
We're so blessed, man. It was a long road.
And it's nowhere near done.
No,
but
of
what
course
is
not.
done,
but
you know?
but feeling at home now, I can't tell you what a
That's a big deal.
just
Yeah.
feeling home.
Yeah.
Feeling home. Yeah, it's a
It-
real deal.
What did it take? What did it take to get there? Like, do you remember
Hmm.
what the okay, we finally do, or did it just kind of
Gradual.
gradually happen?
Well, I mean, I think the last piece of it was our bathroom being done, but before, I think really what made it feel like home was when we finally had couches.
The floors and couches
Like
happened
floors
the same
and couches,
week.
because we couldn't put a couch in
Mhm.
until there were floors, because it just was going to be a disaster, and we
It
knew
was
we
still all
needed,
dusty.
everything was
and,
so dusty,
yeah.
and we knew we were going to get like new couches. Now, when I say new, we got them at Salvation Army, but still, we were going to get new couches compared to the one we had before.
Yeah.
And so we weren't going to buy new ones and put them on a dirty floor, So when that all happened, it was like, oh, we all can like gather in the same room comfortably.
Yeah.
And that feels like home.
No,
And before
yeah.
then it was,
And I mean, right before the floor had been done in that little area, and so it was
Uh-huh.
like a few days where that was like the only livable space,
right,
And everyone was like just like giddy about being
Right.
in there,
being
and,
in
like,
just one
yeah,
little, we couldn't even all fit.
yeah.
but-
But like all the furniture got moved in there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was it. I mean, it's really a place to gather as a family, right? That's
Yeah.
what I feel like home.
I don't know, man. I think for me it was definitely being able to have a bathroom.
Well, yeah, that completed it for sure.
Yeah, I was like, up until that point, I still felt like I was living in a construction zone, and every day I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, this is never gonna end. A year,
Yeah.
and I was talking to Randy. I got to have breakfast with Randy Hines this morning. It was awesome.
Oh,
Yeah, and it came out of a conversation kind of we had last night or whenever we were doing roses and thorns or highs and lows of the.
We do that too.
how did that happen?
It's
Where did
the
you get?
pines. It's the pine. Yes. Or
Yeah,
no?
the pines, roses,
I
and
think,
thorns.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. But we do brownies,
that
and
every night.
brownies, and yeah, there's
Happies
happies and crappies,
Yeah.
or highs and lows, whatever. But
Don't-
but anyway, it was hard because I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I was like thinking about the my low, and I wanted to say like the low of the break was this or
Right.
that, and but it's so strange how a year is a long time to wait to feel like you're at home, but the in the moment you're so grateful for like that struggle that like I wanted to say in the strangest way that my high was the struggle and the what
Just
it
kind
built
of
in me because
the
like
lessons learned and that.
yeah
right.
and I think over over the period of all that it really had so much to do with detachment and like because I always thought detachment was like stuff,
Get rid
but
of it.
it's so much of it just our hopes or
Yeah.
how we thought things were going to work out.
Yeah.
Our control.
Ideas
Yeah, totally.
And
Right. Yeah. Well, no.
it's thy will be
Yeah,
done. I mean,
sure.
that's like.
But so like I'm just done like complaining and I'm just saying, man, I'm just so grateful for the blessing that it is now. Like wherever however we got here. It's like, man, it's awesome now. Like my shower is
It's pretty nice. That's the crazy part is like when we were playing it all, I never really thought about how like once it was done, how luxurious that would feel, right? Because like I've never had a brand new bathroom, really. I mean, even we renovated at Del Rey, but it still was not like I don't know, So a brand new bathroom feels so luxurious now compared to.
Well, I remember, when you guys moved in and all the work. Like I remember you bringing me through your house and the studs of the framing and saying, "This is the bathroom, this is the shower," and like there's nothing there, right? I'm looking at like concrete.
You're like, yeah,
cool, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Right.
And what it brought back for me, I think I have post-traumatic stress from doing some home reno at our house a few years ago.
Yeah.
I remember the concrete floors, and I remember like when a contractor wouldn't show up right after the other contractor and the whole timeline gets thrown off, and like there'd be like 2 weeks at a time where nobody showed up at my house to do stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like sitting in the concrete slab in a folding chair watching a television plugged in the middle of my living room. I felt like this is not how I planned it.
Right.
Yeah.
Now hindsight, right? Hindsight helps to like looking back at it and seeing that as some sort of rose where it forced me to let go of control. That's why I hate flying, because I'm not in control, right? I don't like to fly.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally. Also, John Power, side note, you can come on this
Next
show,
week?
right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Yes.
You see
please.
that?
I
Yeah.
know. Look at him.
That'd be
Look at
so
him
cool.
begging. Look at him.
Oh, stop.
Look at John Power begging.
We saw John today.
No way.
John, you're gonna have to type in the great quote you gave me, because I was about to quote you, but then the worst part is I couldn't remember the quote.
Oh, no.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
Type
was
it
talking to Randy about this, and he had this incredible quote
Speaking of quotes.
from oh yeah, exactly, from Benedict XVI, and I'm not going to read the entire thing, but the idea that like basically man reaching the moon or beyond, I mean anything that we can imagine in the created universe, this desire to like move out and grab and contain and control and those types of things, that like all of that is a search for meaning and a search for God, and sort of like the idea that we will ever be, it's Augustine, right? Like we wrestle with this idea of control because God is he's doing the work of pulling us to himself and inside. And dude, I love you, John Power. You're so funny.
Such a troll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what?
No. Wait. Yeah. Well, I like the family life equals soul, sun, water, but he's just gaslighting now. Dude,
he was on a roll.
yeah, he was.
You were, I mean.
Yeah. No, I think gaslight. Like, no, seriously, we'll bring on John Power next week. Dude, I love John Power, man.
Let's.
John, how many kids do you have now? 5? 4?
4. He told us today.
He gave me great parenting advice today. That's what I'm remembering now.
John
I believe it.
Power.
So good. So anyway, back to Randy Hines, kolaches, coffee, goat. Yeah, we're having a good time.
I can't wait till John's on.
And we're realizing, because so much of parenting, so much of like
Don't read it. Just talk.
I love him. Look, let's bring him on now. Put him on.
I don't have his
Send
phone
him a
number.
link. Send him a link. Getting John Power on here.
Power lady.
As long as, whatever.
Here, I'll get it.
John, type
Here,
in your phone number.
type in here.
Also, Laura might need help putting the kids to bed, okay? So just.
He wants to hear
Yeah.
about hot.
Put your phone number on the internet.
Yeah, don't put your phone number on the
John,
internet.
put your
Quotes
phone number
from
on the
17-year-old
internet.
boys. Don't put your phone number on the internet. Also,
Oh.
what did Randy Hines say?
It's a
Yes,
really
back
long
to
week.
Penny
I'm
Hines.
gonna.
We're all
Here.
hating on it.
Here, I'm linking you together.
Okay.
Bam, and Ecam. All right.
Kolaches.
Yeah, totally.
This is how you.
Kolaches.
This is how you get your way, John. You
So-
just troll.
Yeah. What? He's the best. So yeah, but so Randy and I just discussing parenting and parenting adolescents, and the idea of coming to a place of humility where you know that you've sort of, you've poured all you can into it, and knowing that the next steps are their independence and their learning, that I really can't touch that fire, or I really can't drive fast because I will get pulled up, or whatever the case may be. It's like all of those lessons, not necessarily behavioral, but just that the universe, and God, and sort of all those things on their own is a relinquishing of control, like wanting like having that desire to reach the moon is like nothing. Like reaching the moon is easy, but training and learning how to relinquish control when parenting adolescents is like is so much more. But again, much to do with ourselves and our desires, right? And so like recalling the gospel.
Ryan
from-
O'Hara's calling you.
Ryan O'Hara is calling me right now. That's
Cool.
funny.
Put him on.
Yeah, put him on too. But
Sorry, Ryan.
no, that's fine. Later, Dieter. You can tune in, man. So the gospel, right? And I'm at Constantine, like we're reading Plato and having to engage in discussion and a great quest for truth and knowledge and wisdom and virtue and all those things. As staff, and the gospel this Sunday, where Jesus opens his ministry in John's gospel.
Yeah.
He asks the question, right? He starts his ministry with a question, which is like, he knew Socrates, like he knew Plato. He's writing in Greek and he's asking a question. The greatest teacher, the Word made flesh, the Logos made flesh. He starts with a question. What are you looking for?
Yeah.
What is it that you're looking for? And how that like really does frame the entire human experience. The human experience is looking.
I'm looking for something.
I'm looking.
Looking for joy. I'm looking for happiness. I'm looking for
Yeah, I'm on a quest for whatever it is
that's gonna fill it up.
that's gonna satisfy this restlessness. You know, like that is all we do all day long is question and quest for the logos. And so it was a great discussion I had with Randy. I wanted to share it with you guys, just how our messiness and our quest for control, or attaining our hopes or dreams and things like that. I got great solace today, like thinking like, oh yeah, like my question is okay, or my desire. And I don't know if you remember. Do you remember our conversation after Mass?
Yes, I do.
You don't want to share it?
No, not really.
Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we have this like weird, like speaking of sort of habits or rhythms or things, but we
by necessity lately,
we love just sitting in an empty church. It's like everybody gets out of there, and it's just like, and mom and dad are just sitting there. We're like, oh, it's quiet here, and
I just want to keep praying.
Yeah, can we just stay here?
Can we stay here?
That's great.
I
Yeah.
love it.
But we usually like share, like, how you doing? How you feeling? Oh, hold me tight. That was such a mess.
It's hard being a shit show.
Yeah, it's hard being a shit show.
Things like that.
But yeah, like that question, like, what do you desire? Like, what are you looking for? I think I feel like, if I were to be asked that question, if Jesus were here, and he's like, what are you looking for? I'd be like, money.
Right, like if I'm being perfectly honest,
Like,
I said health.
yeah, like and that's not to say I'm broke or I'm poor or anything like that, but I don't know if God like thinks I'm crazy, with that response. And I think that the more like we're given
Authentic
permission
or honest we can be about what we are looking for in the moment,
he's definitely not going to give me money.
Right.
I've been at this for a while. He has not given me money. but he's okay with like that quest.
The authenticity of
right?
what it is you want.
And I know because what I want to do is pour all my theology on it, or all my biblical knowledge. Be like, have no anxiety or worry about you. Like, don't you know that he feeds the sparrows and he clothes the grass with flowers? And you're like,
yeah, I'm probably better than a sparrow. I
but
think,
like,
so
I feel like
just as good anyway.
Fiddler on the Roof is like, could you just, would it have been so hard? Like, I think I would be a fine rich guy.
There was a
don't you think
theologian.
I think I'd be an okay rich guy.
He said that asking the question and staying in the non-answer is what faith looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, we are so ready for every hunger or need to be immediately filled.
Mm-hmm.
And not that we should be like, I want to go hungry, or I want to always feel like I'm in need, but like somehow that need's what draws us back, Right. And I know there's this, I think one of the biggest needs people have is maybe they don't know what that is yet. Like you said, Annie, right? Like, how many times if the Lord asked me, I'd tell him something other than the right answer of what I need.
Right, the right answer, which is him or whatever. Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, of course, it's you, Lord. That's what I need.
Right,
but that isn't always my answer. I mean, take
well,
at the well.
It sounded like the apostles wanted a place to stay.
Exactly.
Right.
Because they were like, where are you staying?
That's right.
They were.
Or the
he was like, "What are you looking for?" And they were like, "Where are you staying? Because maybe we can stay with you." Like,
who knows what that?
What did that mean?
The funny part is that doesn't answer what exactly they wanted.
Well, I mean, they were disciples of John, so and he told them it's the Lord, so maybe. Right. But they were like, "Where are you staying? Like, can we stay with you?" That's it's wild.
And I think it translates today into this like difference between like ignorance and apathy. What's the difference? Well, there was a professor, he asked the room, and what's the difference between ignorance and apathy? And there's a student that raises his hand and says, I don't know, and I don't care. And that's actually the answer, right? That's the difference between ignorance and apathy. But we're
Right.
so ready to give people what they're not hungry for. So like people come to church and we're like, let's give them more theology. Or people come to mass,
Right.
let's give them a program. Or like
But they're not even asking for that necessarily.
That's right.
Right.
We need to find out what people need. That's where we need to be better about being disciples, about being, domestic church. We go back to that.
Well, and it's simple when you think about your kids and
Mhm.
they think they're helping you, and you're like, no, help is it's doing
Right.
what I actually need you to do, not just what sounds like fun right
Right.
now. Like
Right.
you might think you're helping, but that's
That's actually not helpful.
how about
Yeah.
right? And my favorite thing for them to ask me is, Mom, what could I do to help? And it's
Right.
like they get big smiles and oh, that just
Right.
my heart
Awesome. I have a
Yes.
few things. Yeah. Yeah. But I think
But-
opposite too, maybe in reference to our kids, sometimes is, like they'll say things that they need and I want to provide those needs, but really they
Oh.
might not be the actual need, like as
That's right.
and that can be hard too. Or, or things like, my, whatever, I don't know, my tummy hurts, or whatever, but maybe actually it has nothing to do with food and, so like trying to recognize so like, it's kind of similar with us and God, like I need money and he's like, no, what you need is, trust, whatever.
You think you
and-
need an apple, but
Right.
what you need to do is go to bed.
Right. Exactly.
Amen.
Right.
You think you're hungry, but,
Your
you're
body's
just
tricking
exhausted.
You're exhausted.
Yeah, totally. No, that's exactly it. And I think it's okay. Like I didn't, I don't want to say that throwing theology on things. I mean, tradition and and the church teaching is something that I lean on. I mean, so like, yeah, like there's art in our house, sparrows
so much
eating.
Sacred art. Yeah.
Like we have to constantly be reminded of these truths of the faith. And it's not to say that I don't know the right answer.
And you don't have moments, and also not that you don't have moments of trust or moments of, knowing that God does provide and always
Sure.
has and all of that.
Well, yeah, I know that.
I know.
Good grief. I know that. I probably know that. I mean, if someone ever asked me to prove God, like you probably could prove God, Dominic. Could you prove God?
I
Through
have
logic?
a couple different arguments here.
Do you? Yeah. No, I figured you would be able. I would not be able to do that. I really wouldn't. Like if someone was like, how do you know God's real? I'd be like, because like
Well, obviously,
he
they're
gives
not
me
foolproof,
he gives me life.
but
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
I definitely have
But
some-
but my
sound,
point. But my point being
not
that
everyone
like
would agree with that.
personally, I don't. It's the only proof I really have is that I know
personal experience,
that he's with
Yeah.
me.
which is the most foolproof argument you have
Right.
for God.
He's
There was this really cool video of like an atheist ranking the different Christian arguments for God. He said personal experience is the hardest one to beat
Yeah.
because how can you tell someone
That
what
they-
they've
Can't take
experienced
that
is
away.
It's
wrong?
It's wrong.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and so for me, absolutely, like provision, like I know. I mean, I am just I'm blessed. I have followed him in hard situations, and we've trusted in by God's grace,
And he's come through every time.
and every time he comes through,
Right.
every time,
Within the
Amen.
dollar.
yeah, like sometimes to the dollar.
Yeah.
Well, what day is it?
Or I,
Ew.
or I, if I need
Oh,
somebody to,
it's only the
like,
20th.
Shut up.
Oh my gosh.
I want to hear what Matt said. What did Matt say?
I was gonna say if somebody needs an argument for God exists, I just tell them to call ALOB and say, hey, you just talk to him for a while.
I love it.
Good.
Yeah, that's a
answer.
thing. I met some people the other day in there, and some of these Jesus movements, Bethel, they do. There's like they're raising people from the dead, and like legit, like there's a church. They're like 13. We have 13. We've raised 13 people from the dead.
What?
Yeah. And there's ministries
Yeah, we
popping
do,
up.
yeah.
Yeah, there's ministries popping up that literally are praying for that sort of
Those kinds of miracles.
miraculous experiences with people in worship so that they know without a doubt. And I don't know. What do you think about that? Where are you at on that one?
I mean,
God is real.
it's Yeah, I still want to see it. I believe it, and I still want to see it. Is that possible to have both? I believe it.
Yeah, I don't
and
know.
I want to be part of that.
Right. My
You know?
response to that, like my gut was kind of like, well, is that like that would be so easy. I have this kind of tie up with Mary, the Blessed Mother, who I love and adore and worship. I don't care what people say. Like I give her worth in the truest sense of the word. She has utmost worth. She was chosen by God. But oftentimes I'm like, she can't relate to my experience. There's a big difference between being born with original sin and not being born with original sin. I don't want to debate this.
We're not gonna debate it. I'm not gonna
I'm
debate
just
it right
saying,
now.
I have this tie-up. So this is my relationship. So the idea of witnessing a miracle, like somebody coming out of like they were dead and now they're alive, I feel like would be a one-up as far as faith is concerned, or like a one down. Like I don't have to have as much faith now because I've seen it.
Yeah.
I don't have to, I have to.
Yeah.
I've witnessed something. So then that's my tie up with like the apostles, all these guys that like, oh, they died and he got crucified upside down. I'm like, easy. He like walked with Jesus.
Yeah.
How could you not? Like at that point in time when you saw that and you knew people that witnessed the man walking and rose from the dead, of course he died on a cross upside down. Do you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Am I weird? Am I a heretic? Did I just
No,
commit
but
heresy?
Like, no.
Yeah.
Notice
I think
the
it's something-
timing of that though. Because go ahead, Emily.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I think there's probably a lot of people that think that, and like,
John Barr says, just don't raise me from the dead.
I want to
but like,
Sorry.
like people are not gonna be willing to admit that. Like, I'm actually mad at the apostles because it was easier for them or whatever in a certain way. So I'm sure, yeah.
But notice the ingredient for them. Like even after he rose from the dead, they were still afraid for their lives and hiding out. And even after he kept appearing to them over and over again, they were still like hanging out by themselves. It wasn't until
the Holy Spirit.
It wasn't until the Holy Spirit filled them that they changed.
Right.
That was the transformative moment, or the re-trajectory, if you will, for them.
Totally.
The third person. Dude, I love it, man.
So true, though.
So true, Matt. Thanks for that. Wow. Yeah, totally. And I have the same, that makes sense.
You have the same spirit.
I got the same
Amen.
one.
Amen, brother.
But am I the same as Mary? Come on.
No, you're not.
I'm not. We're not.
Yeah.
She got a leg up.
Mary was filled with the same
Yeah.
Spirit. That.
She's the spouse.
She's the spouse
But
of the
do
spirit.
we?
She birthed God.
I know,
Come
but
on,
I actually
man.
had this.
I'm not the same.
And the church.
In the church. She was the spouse of the Spirit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thank God for her.
Amen.
Amen.
My advocate, my intercessor, my mediatrix,
What?
my co-redemptrix. That's my favorite.
You really do want to like have the.
I'm just saying, co-redemptrix.
Oh yeah! Wow.
So, what are the
Good
what are
lull,
the Hickman
guys.
hopes- what are the Hickman hopes for 2021?
Oh, what are our hopes?
Hmm.
I keep telling Annie I just can't.
Money.
Didn't we just have this conversation? I'm just kidding.
No, I keep telling Annie that I want to have ordinary days. Like just like back to kind of the idea of rhythm and just ordinary rhythm of life where things are fairly predictable. Like
It's been so long though, Kana. It's been so long.
It's been a long time.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. But that's I don't even mean like I don't care if masks and COVID and all of that is part of the predictability. Just like ordinary days.
Does that exist?
I don't know. Maybe
know. Yes.
But
I
the
think
thing is,
something
your
about it.
ordinary is a little more
I mean,
chaotic.
ordinary is messy. Like,
Yeah,
don't get me
it's-
wrong.
yeah.
Ordinary is totally always going to be messy. There's
Yeah.
just no doubt.
That's a
But-
word thing. Because like ordinary sounds dull.
No, I don't mean boring, and I don't mean
Yeah.
dull. Because there's never a
Not
dull
mundane.
moment around here.
Yeah.
That won't happen.
Like, what does ordinary mean then?
I just think like in the ordinary. Yeah, I think there's order.
Yeah, ordered.
And then
That's
There's-
what it would
I
mean.
think-
Ordinary time in church means ordered, right? It doesn't mean plain or, well, it's what we call it when it's not Lent.
When
and
it's
Advent.
not good, when it's not as good as the other
Right.
time.
It's
Yeah. Ordered.
Ordered,
Yeah.
right?
Rhythm. Back to rhythm.
It's like the
Rhythm.
It's
I
like-
really,
it's like the
Excuse
fifth. It's like the fifth inning.
yeah. Back to baseball.
It's just
It's like the fifth inning. It's
Yeah.
just like that part of the game where everything just kind of goes like
it's
I
like
want
it's like
2021 to
October.
be the fifth.
It's like Halloween to Thanksgiving in the school year. Just like, what are we doing here?
Oh,
It's the worst. That's the worst time when you're waiting for
No, it's
Thanksgiving.
really Thanksgiving to
Hard one.
Christmas.
Because Thanksgiving isn't that great.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I just, there's a song that, I don't know if you have any idea who this person is, but Michael John Poirier was this.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. Anyway, whatever. But he said this song,
We're old.
Ordinary Holiness, and it goes through my head sometimes because
Sing it.
no,
Yeah.
no,
Sing
I don't,
it.
and
Ordinary
No, it was-
holiness. Holiness, that's ordinary.
it wasn't quite that bad.
Like,
A little
Close.
close, but
That was it.
no, that was not the song,
Oh.
Annie. But I appreciate
That's
the
not it?
song.
I'm about to.
Well,
find
that was
it.
embarrassing.
Such a dork.
I thought that was it.
Too bad there's so many people watching.
See, when there's no one watching, you can just do whatever. You can sing.
Except it's on the internet.
Okay, so anyway, Ordinary Holiness. Yeah, we did an Adore series called Ordinary Holiness.
Did we?
No,
No.
Ordinary Mission.
Ordinary mission
And ordinary-
Oh, what was life? No. It
My
was the bench.
point
It was
was-
the bench.
just to bring like the sacred into the ordinary, kind of, just of everyday, the rhythm of
I
life.
wasn't around then.
They're
What was
thinking
it
about
called?
that Adore series
Do
still.
you remember the
so.
Adore series? It was
Probably
called
not.
Ordinary.
Was it ordinary life and then ordinary
No,
mission?
it was
There was a
Ordinary.
bench on the postcard.
I think it was called Ordinary.
Maybe it's just called
Likeness.
ordinary. It's probably just called ordinary.
That
was it
Time.
called?
Yeah.
Mm.
Dude,
Who
that's
was
gonna
designing
drive
the-
me insane.
Who was designing posters at that
I
point?
think it was Colton at the time.
Or
Holy.
did Corey do?
Did we do a North? Was there an Adore North series for that?
It was before my time.
I think so.
It was like the year before.
May
I
your
came on,
grace
or two
find
years.
me. May your grace find me. That's how the song went.
May your
Anyway.
grace find me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
When I was a youth minister, I made a t-shirt. T-shirt. The t-shirt game was strong at St. Thomas More. We had some really
Yeah,
strong-
because Paulatino.
yes,
And
Demox design.
oh, Palatino,
Demox
Annie
design.
Hickman, Microsoft Paint.
Microsoft Paint. But we had a green shirt and it just said "Ordinary Time," and only Catholics got it. It was awesome.
Great.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm looking
Yeah.
up ordinary.
So
What are
yeah,
y'all's
man.
hopes for
Yeah.
2021?
What are your hopes? Come on,
It's got to be better than ordinary
gotta-
holiness.
baby.
Go. You.
I don't know. I think as hard and crazy as this year has been, like, I feel like the surrender to God has brought so much, like, clarity and peace and I don't know.
To very practical things in our lives. Like we're getting clarity around, last year all our kids were at one school. Now they're at 3, and that could still be shifting a bit. And,
Right.
I was working at a church. It's funny. I would say the most unpredictable, less settled thing in my life a year ago was where I worked.
Right.
At the parish. I was transitioning out of the parish and into Divine Renovation. And then when the pandemic hit, that was the most secure thing in my life. I was like, wow, Divine Renovation is able to step into this pandemic, like you said earlier, and pivot really easily. Well, everything else in my life seems like it's up for grabs.
Right.
I was like, I want it all ordered, but I know that's the control thing again.
Too much
But
to ask.
we are getting, we're getting very practical clarity around things in our life that have been in transition. And that's kind of our hope, is settle that stuff, because I know there's more to come.
But yeah, I mean, the hope to be settled in the right place at the right time, and I felt like we had been in a like kind of a great place with our kids, and that's continued. I was afraid that with one going to high school, that somehow the family was going to feel more disjointed, but I'm loving, where we are with all the kids, and each age has so many gifts right now, and I don't know, I just see more blessings than anything. And I don't see any ordinary for a while, like, but I do know that I want to get there. But I mean, my brother's having his first child this year, which is like an answered prayer for 10 years. Like,
oh, wow.
I shared earlier something else, but like just some things in our families that are going to be beautiful, and just excited. I feel like God's already kind of blowing us away with a lot of those things. So I'm encouraged about it. I can't say last year, we were with y'all on New Year's Eve, and what I pictured for 2020 was so different.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna.
Man, we just had no idea.
So I'm like, okay, God, I'll take more of that if you just keep carrying us along. Like, I'll take whatever you throw our way, as long as we can fall into your lap every time.
Right.
So.
I love that. That's so true.
Gosh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I forgot about that. We were all together. On
That was the
New
photo
Year's.
on the cover.
On the cover. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. That like probably probably a dozen people saw that one. The Instagram post. So
Hey.
I got that going for
Yeah. It doesn't.
A dozen. 4 people on here. A dozen people saw the post.
But see, Emily has like 4 accounts, so you have to take those 4 accounts out. It's probably like 8 people.
Dude, if Emily posted our pictures, our YouTube link on the account she has access to, bro, we'd be.
It's one of my worst fears to like accidentally cross post on certain accounts that like I have access to.
That would be rough.
One in particular.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I should probably actually log out because I don't really do much with their social media. But
It would be so good.
no, I'm not.
Oops.
No, I think oh gosh, what did I? Oh, when I texted Matt.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I was sending you the link. I texted a different Matt.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Whoopsie.
Well, I feel bad because I know he would have like panicked, like, oh no, that's tonight.
He probably was like because I had just talked. It was Matt Fradd. I had just talked to him like minutes before about like February or March, like coming on our YouTube live, and so then she accidentally
I'm like type in Matt, and then hey, here's the link. Do you have time to test this real quick?
Yeah.
And then I didn't realize it because I looked at the last text, and the last text he had sent me, all it said was glory. Like, Matt Regitz hasn't texted me that. What? Yeah. Oh no.
Glory.
Matt, it's too common of a name.
Yeah. I honestly, I've been on dates with probably 4. No, I've either crushed on or been on dates with 4 or 5 Matts.
What's the name of
Crushed on.
Nope.
Come
I'm
on.
not doing that.
No, we're not doing that right now. We're not doing that right now.
I as
not?
soon as that came out of my mouth.
Oh my gosh.
I could probably name them all, but we're not going to.
No.
I can name 3.
No, the one.
I just thought of the third one. Come on.
I probably can't even remember, but I remember.
Yeah.
So there were like guys I had talked to on
Didn't happen.
Coffee Meets Bagel, whatever I was on.
Oh,
Let
okay,
her
years ago.
be.
Anyway, but there's one point where it was like 3 Matthews.
When's your next
row.
date?
So if there's any Matts watching right now, of the 3 viewers, Emily dates Matts.
She dates them, but apparently it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
So
I went on a 3rd date with the Matt before. Yeah.
All the Matts
But
that
it was
you
actually
dated
it was actually
are awesome. They're all great. Or that have gone on dates with. You never dated
So
any of
I
them.
think I've gone on dates with 2, maybe 3. 2 for sure. Well, one wasn't really a date.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway.
Let's be honest.
was-
It was as close to as of a date as was possible.
Okay.
I've never been on a date with a Matt.
You haven't?
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Her ex-boyfriend was a Matt.
We really have to go here.
Whoa.
Yes.
Of course we do.
We're there.
Moving right.
Dude, I want to. Yeah, no. I have to look up.
We
Yeah.
talked about this last time. Maybe not that guy.
Let me type in Matt. Hold on. This is going to be a great
Why?
exercise.
On who?
In your
Just
on
on
your
my-
yeah. I think Matthew's probably the most common name
Matt.
on
That's true, you
my
probably have, like, 20 of them.
contacts.
You
Yeah.
mean how many Matts you have in your contacts?
Yeah.
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 Ooh, there's a
The most
lot.
valuable thing you own is your
Contacts.
folder.
Uh-huh.
I know.
The most.
Yeah, okay, hold on,
valuable
hold
Or
on.
thing
one of
you
the most
own
valuable
is
things.
How many
Uh,
Matts in your contacts?
Oh, I forgot about him.
Ha!
Yeah.
See, I knew that.
Who's
Do I count?
He-
Take myself out?
Hold
Yeah.
on. One,
No, you
2,
can count
3.
yourself. Why not?
And Matthews as the
27.
last name doesn't count.
27.
27 Matts.
Yep. Who you want? Hey, Emily, let me send you their numbers.
Only if they're single.
Well, I could probably go through and see.
Oh my gosh, I have one in here. It says Matthew New, and I'm pretty sure it's because
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have
see.
I have 35 Matts in my phone.
wow. Okay, y'all definitely.
35?
Wait, no, hold on.
35 Matts.
I
Yeah.
have 27. You beat me.
That's a lot. Both of y'all. I don't
Crazy.
know.
Way too many Matts.
Way too
I
many Matts. I
graduated
know
with
way too many. And I know them all. That's what's weird.
Like, I actually know
I
these
graduated
people.
with
These are
14
real
Matts.
people.
My class
I don't
had
know.
I only have 24. But yeah, I have a Matthew and a Matthew New. And I don't remember. Who they
How many father Matts do you have?
are. 0.
Oh, well, actually, I coach 3 Father Matts right now.
Oh.
Wow. That's impressive.
I only have one
Isn't that
father
kind
Matt.
Only one.
I'm like afraid to.
Let's see.
That's funny.
Who's your most
Oh.
famous Matt that you know?
Regitz.
Oh, shut up.
Regitz.
Matt Regitz.
He's my most famous.
I don't know
Matt
who's
friend.
more.
There's famous Matts.
Who-
Stop. I don't know anybody famous Matts.
4 Father Matts.
I feel like one of them is like.
4 father Matts.
That's awesome.
Well, you work with
Yeah.
priests all day.
Yeah.
So you're more likely to.
But still, before Father Matt's is great.
Too many.
I feel like that should be a character. You could do like a show called Father Matt, and it would be like a great, like millennial priest.
Where's Patrick? Fully dating book according to. Anyway,
So many Matts, Davids, and Toms.
True. Toms and Toms.
I don't know if I know a lot.
Dave. And how many Daves do you know that are musical? That's
Oh, yeah.
Too
you
many.
know some
This is a fun
Daves or
game.
Davids.
Musical Daves.
Demasiado.
Anyone want to play musical Daves?
Musical. Dave Beals, Dave Moore, Dave Regitz. The only Daves I have in here are musical.
Whoa.
Unless, hold on, there is a Dave in here that doesn't have a last name.
Dave
That is
knew.
so
Well,
crazy.
I don't know.
Start calling all your not last name boys in your phone.
Dave
This will be fun.
knew.
Hey,
I don't know.
so who are you?
Dave Old.
Oh, I think it's someone from like Harvey Relief.
Old Dave.
Old
What
Dave.
was that?
Dave Moore, if you're watching this, you owe me an email and a phone call.
All right. I have. Wow, that's actually okay. So he's dead.
How many extras
He's
do you
dead.
have? No, we won't go there.
One,
This is a really
2,
fun game.
Musical Dave.
3, 4.
You know what? All the youth.
5 out of
ministers that are
7 of my
watching-
Daves are musical. 5 out of 7 of my Daves are
you
musical.
I'm naming a kid Dave.
Seriously.
All the youth ministers that aren't watching are going to use this as an icebreaker the next time.
Dave Matthews! Thank you, Patrick Larson.
That was a really good one.
And scene. That was it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the end.
I think we got to the end of that joke.
That bit.
That was a good bit, guys.
Yeah.
And Patrick won.
Patrick wins the day.
Bingo.
Oh my gosh. I love it. So
Yeah.
high school hasn't changed your life much. That's good to hear. He's Athens loving high school.
He loves it.
Oh man.
He loves it.
It was Oh, we had a really neat conversation on the way home today. Just,
We both decided today we'd go pick him up. So we
Aw.
left all the kids here. House didn't burn down.
Amazing.
Went and picked him up from soccer practice. 20 minutes in the car with him to tell us about his day. And it was just one of those really
Aw.
deep, intimate conversations about the, I guess being a youth minister for 20 years, I expected it was going to make my life easier as a dad of a teenager, and it really hasn't.
It does,
I mean, it's
right? Mm-hmm.
but I also am totally loving it. I'm totally loving it.
Yeah.
well, and he's. I mean, we're blessed for him to be our firstborn. He's a high verbalizer, almost an over communicator to a delight
That
level.
sounds familiar.
And anyways, but it's just been a joy to like witness.
I love that. We're not.
And Beckett'll be a different teenager. He'll be a teenager this year, and it's he's not quite as forthcoming with all of this as Athen.
Yeah.
But he even is able to recognize that about himself. Like he like had a rough day at school one day and was taking it out on his brothers and sisters, and he realized it and said, I just haven't communicated some of the things I'm struggling with. And anyway, so I'm like, I love that they're building some self-awareness that around it. They're not perfect. That's for sure.
They're not Hickman children.
Oh, right. Hickman children aren't perfect
Perfect
either.
children is like saying perfect dad, or
Right.
perfect
Right.
wife, or
Well-
that doesn't happen, right? Is any
Yeah.
right? Like
Oh,
that's
it happens.
That is-
I have
Almost.
no desire for my children to be perfect,
perfect children.
No.
despite what
But
they may have.
Well, look at that. You said perfect dads, and my dad's calling.
Oh, you get to take your. Oh.
No.
How's he
calling back.
doing?
How is he doing?
He's we moved him to his own place, at a little assisted living place, and that was tough for mom and dad, but especially during COVID.
Right.
But gosh, it's a daily. I wouldn't say, oh, it's been great, because that's a lie.
It's harder because of COVID. Like
Right.
if he had the ability to get out and go see some of the sports events that are happening with our kids, that would give him
An outlet.
an outlet, or that's something he wouldn't be missing out on that he is. So that's hard. And he wasn't able to get out at Christmas. Matt's grandmother was, but because of insurance and
Nice.
stuff, he wasn't able to. So that was really rough.
Yeah.
Totally.
But,
This is Renee. We're all trying our best. Yeah.
Well, there's no perfect, but we're all trying our best. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Matt, so I've never really had to deal with like nursing homes, or my grandmother was in assisted living or nursing home for a year before she passed, but it's never been like a direct has affected me. I was able to go visit her, she was here, whatnot. But my other grandmother they're thinking like it's gonna be safer for her and like best if she go into a nursing home. Like, okay, that's great, it's actually really good, social, all the stuff. But the problem is once she goes in, no one can visit her.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we're just like,
Yeah.
shoot, then if this is like her last
No.
year or something, like, do we keep her in a house and pay for people to come in so we can actually, I wasn't even able to see her for Christmas because of COVID, but it was like the first time I think COVID like really directly affected me.
Right.
But it was in such a weird way.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, like, decide between, is she safe in her own home by herself? Because she's,
Or I don't see her.
Right.
like,
And is that safe? Like,
is that,
that
like, how do you
safer?
make,
Yeah, right. Is that
Right.
safe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting point because, I mean, what I love about what you just said is that you discerned. Like, I think so often there's so many things in life that people just do as automatic. Like, oh, this is what we do. Like
the
church
next
earlier. It's
step
just
or
like, this
whatever.
is what we do. This is what we've always done.
Mhm.
This is how this is the next step. And COVID made you discern.
everything. Yeah. Well, not me. Right.
Well, yeah, sure, but like
dad
whoever,
and
but like
yeah,
all
yeah.
these sorts of decisions.
But you're
Now,
having
like
to
your dad
pause.
is saying, that happened before COVID, and then it got weird, and the whole thing. That's a little different. But like COVID had you known, like, we can only hang out with him through a window, like that's kind of or whatever. That may have changed things, but I think what Renee, I'm like, just going back to that, like the idea of everybody just trying our best, like, man, I feel like I have to tell myself a lot, that I'm okay, and that and not like in a comparison way, but as parents just trying to like raise saints and do the thing, keep it together. Do you find yourself beating yourself up as much as I do, like when it comes to that sort of stuff?
Well, let's compare.
Yeah. No, but like, or did you come to that a while ago? Because I feel like I'm just starting to realize, like, man, I'm pretty hard on myself when it comes to being a perfect husband or a perfect dad, or a perfect son, like in your case, with your dad. Yeah. What is that? Is that because we're like public people?
I think temperament might have a lot to do with some of how we reflect on. I mean, because I think I personally struggle with like beating myself about things, and Matt doesn't dwell on much. Like he's able to kind of shake off negativity with a lot more I don't know, ease than I do, but it's a balance. I mean,
yeah, she likes to say, if we're in a disagreement, that I can get hot a lot faster, right? But then I move on real quickly. And for her, it takes her longer to like really get worked up about it. But then she'll like, man, look at me like, how are you over this already? I do let things go pretty quickly, pretty easily. I think perfectionism personally, I'm hard on myself a lot more than I think I'm hard on
other people.
I don't know. Maybe you're challenging me to think about this a little bit more, Annie, because I think I can be hard on my kids. I don't know.
He has recognized that he struggles with negative feedback more than he is on himself. Like if he gets criticism from a superior or a peer or something, he beats himself up about that much more than his internal self being.
Oh, that's true. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think
I love negative feedback. That's what's so funny. I love the verbal, like, hey, that sucked, because I'll never do it again. There's an ease to that. It's more, it's more the, for me. Maybe it is temperament. I guess, like, I don't know. Like, I think, there's a lot to be said there. But I want to get back, I real quickly, because I don't want to stay up all night, chatting about things, but we really have enjoyed this. But like, getting back to the parish thing and divine renovation, like, I guess what I wanted to ask you tonight is, what is the parish, like, in your opinion, or kind of way you're training or coaching, like, what's the parish's role in my life? Like, I know it to be something that it was an innovation at a time when parish was necessary to gather, and it just made sense to have parish priests as opposed to the guy that was also the cobbler, or or the cheesemaker, or the monk that was tucked away. But like, to have a parish priest is a fairly new innovation in the church. New as in, like, what, 700 years or so.
Yeah.
So but now, kind of, in the new age, digital age, modern world, modern man's needs, like, what are we looking for in a parish or a pastor, or what are the things we need from the parish, and how can the parish serve family life?
Just like you said, where COVID has really allowed a lot of discernment. I mean, think about the people we know in our lives that have used this moment in time, this COVID experience, and discerned a radical change in their life or their lifestyle. You know, we know people entering seminary, people moving, changing jobs, growing their family, all these things that people are discerning in this moment. and I think the parish is no different. That I think the parish over the last few, maybe decades, specifically a couple generations, has started to assume more responsibility than was ever intended. And I don't know if that's because families have relinquished that responsibility to the parish, right? I mean, we've heard before, oh, you drop them off and you're going to teach them and all this stuff. Like, that was never the intention of the parish. Now, I think they started to do it because they saw a lack in culture, right? So they were trying to fill in that gap of like formation and education, where that then became somehow primary. Formation, education was done by the parish,
Right.
as opposed to being done in the house. And then, so the thing that I think we need to recapture in parish life is what makes it unique. What is its primary role? And are they just sacramental dispensaries, right? Is that just where we go to get the sacraments?
Right.
Or is it where we go to experience the connection of domestic churches or family lives, where you and I could make a case for that happens really good on our porches and in our streets if you have mission-minded people to do that. Right. But still, the parish, I mean, I think still could be like that rallying point, that training ground to sending people out. So the coming together for sacraments, the coming together for nourishment and community belonging, to be sent out to do that. Because I don't know how else we really in this culture recapture it without the parish's support, but the parish can't be the driving factor.
I thought you said it was 30 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, it's okay. It's all good. This is a great, I love this conversation.
Yeah,
So you mentioned the idea that there's like it is battery. We're going to be off for a second. We'll just be, can you still hear us?
I can.
Hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah. So like so just go to them rather than the blinking one. This is great. Change the battery.
Do you know how to do it?
Oh, I'll do it.
Well, I don't know what he was gonna say, so I can't say it.
What's your question?
What is my question? Well, I mean, my mind was wandering. I'll be honest. I was thinking about in our specific, situation of sacramental prep and that kind of thing, and how I don't love programmy sacramental prep.
Yeah.
To like and crafty things to do at
switch
home.
sides.
And trying to discern, the best way to prepare in this moment, I don't know, what our parish is having us do versus what comes kind of more natural and organic to our family.
Okay.
Anyway.
We'll edit all that out when we do Okay. So so you mentioned the idea of because my understanding of the history of it, right, is that the parish priest was sort of the neighborhood, that was the neighborhood, that was the town, that was the village. These are neighbors who were
that's correct.
Yeah, mostly Catholic, and then you had like, oh, that's the Jewish, end of the town down there, or that's the, but for the most part, those who existed in these villages, in townships or neighborhoods were Catholic, and they were also neighbors, and so they shared and spared. And this was this is where we got our milk, and this is where we got our bread, and this is where we, and there was that sense of community. And so then you mentioned that like there was a moment, I think probably in, the more modern history where the parish maybe began to overstep in a way that told parents that, hey, look, you don't really need to catechize anymore. Like, you're the primary catechist and yada yada, but like you really need to send them here to me because I know more than you. And there was a moment there
Right,
where
but did the parish do that, or did we abdicate
sure
our
whoever
role?
it did.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a
It
good
could be
question, whether it's an overstep or
the overstep is something that we could, whether it was the chicken or the egg, the overstep we can say as a parish system, like there came a point where the role was replaced and it was flopped, and you would get the language, but you wouldn't really see that on paper when it came to the requirements of, and both you and I have served in parishes, and there's a part of me that's like, oh man, I can't believe I was a part of that. And there's another part of me that's like, yeah, but some of those kids, like, I knew their home lives, and I'm happy that I was in their life, So that being said, that there is sort of an overstep, like, do you think that in recognizing that we now have to say, okay, now it's time to pull back and relinquish some of these responsibilities to families that
may or may not be equipped?
Who's equipped?
Not me.
I mean, that's the thing. Like, people will be like, "Oh, the Hickmans are equipped."
Mm-hmm. Catechetics, maybe.
Right.
And,
I mean, yeah,
who's
we're both
equipped?
Theology majors.
Yeah.
But
Who's equipped? And so I think this is idea of like,
the problem was culture used to protect that. Like you said, the neighborhood, the church was in the middle of the neighborhood. You lived around people that believed and lived the same values. And then the church, when you went on Sundays, where you all showed up to worship and have your sacramental needs met. Well, then when people stopped living communally, whether it's because with like-minded people or as now look at our churches. Were they ever meant to be mega churches that you drove to? Right. And now because of COVID, we have parishioners that are just online parishioners, so like this all looks so different now, but we're still trying to operate out of that same premise, right? That maybe served us in another time and another culture, and it doesn't. So I don't think it's letting go of. I think it's positioning ourselves to focus on what parishes should be doing. So maybe it's like reprioritizing, right? Because like you said, I do believe families need to assume the role of forming their kids. And that does not just mean you call the church and get the textboook. That's not what I mean by forming their kids, right? That's the challenge.
That was my original question, is like, what do parishes do in this time to serve family life? And is sort of like that old model of like, okay, listen here, I'm going to tell you some stuff to tell your kids, or I'm going to, or is it going to, because I will say that of all the things that our parish has done in the past, through this time, has just been our pastor like giving a shit about me, and not only just stopping me after mass, but riding his bike to my house, and
how many people can do that for in this cult and like in this day and age, right?
Right. Realistically, not everybody, but he has been.
But
we're not the only ones.
I mean, let's do the quick math here. I mean, you if you have 7 hours of work day, I mean, how many families could you visit?
How many families are home though during those?
Okay. Well, yes, and it was COVID.
Lots,
so okay, so like let's just say Saturday. How many can you visit? 6? 5? 5. That's probably enough. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
But still, 5.
You'd be whipped too. Yeah, that guy would be
52. Oh, he'd be beat. But it's 1 day a week. I mean, they only work 1 day a week now. This is just one other day.
Favorite priest.
Yeah, right. I mean, so my parish has 10,000 families.
Right.
So you realize now one of the things that required is pastors can't overinvest in everyone. Right. And it's okay if they overinvest in a few, because then what has to happen is you need to overinvest in a few.
Sure.
But it can't be the pastor being the one. That's the old model. The old model says the pastor lives in the town and goes around and knows all the people. but it can't be so in this model.
Right.
They've
So
got to overinvest in a few, and that needs to be okay.
right.
And then those people need to overinvest in a few, and that needs to be okay that it's not the pastor.
So, like, for instance, Dave is trying to overinvest in some volunteers that are given lists of people. And we sat down one night and called 9 families, checked in with them. And out of the 9 families we called, like 3 answered. And, you know, they were expecting it to be a robocall and were pleasantly surprised.
Right.
And we found out one family needed prayer for their marriage.
And they said it with us on the phone there, and the spouse sitting with them, like, our marriage, we need some help right now.
Right.
And then the other 2, one was like, I'm really bogged down. I don't know how I'm going to get around to the faith formation stuff. And the other one said, oh, we're really trucking along. Our family's been so blessed and we're doing really great. So, like,
Wow.
I feel like that high touch is what everyone is craving. And we're going to have to figure out a way to inspire others to do it.
Right. I
You
guess
know,
'cause
to, like,
yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
I don't think it takes a lot. I think one of the most impactful moments I have had at our parish was when the pastor noticed I was sitting by myself and the Hickmans were gone, and he was like, "Where's the family?" He's like, "I saw you from the altar,
Right.
and I noticed you were by yourself."
Right.
And yeah, it was like such like it's not that big of a
Super
deal, but
simple
for some
comment,
reason
right.
I walked like out of mass that day just like feeling really at home and really like, gosh, like
I
my
belong
pastor
here.
noticed me. And I've been going to that parish my whole entire life, almost
Right.
30 years. But yeah, there was like something about it that I'm like, he complimented a sweater the other day. Like it was just like you noticed.
Father Clark Sample.
Yeah.
Dude.
You're a good pastor, Father
but
Clark.
I think
He is great.
there's something in that, like it doesn't take a lot. You don't like over investing. A lot of times is just
Is a comment like that. Right.
Or make a phone call,
Right.
and
So
because-
but here's the thing. You would never hear this conversation. Well, Dave, okay, so Dave, an exception.
What were you going to say?
But this is not what parishes are talking about right now.
No.
Parishes are talking
No.
about how to engage people online. And that's not
Maybe.
well, no, but
Yeah.
everybody's scrambling to figure out their
because it's higher quantity, So that was crazy. I was like just praying about this morning of just like this idea of like entering in like where it's deep and not like spreading out like wide where it's like, okay, I'm covering all these bases and whatnot. But yeah, it's like if people can take the time to enter in and be in a relationship with people, the amount of people they can be in a relationship with, then instead of trying to figure out, okay, how do we reach everyone,
Right.
Okay, like,
Right.
I think it's
I think you're right. And I think I have a suspicion, and I've said this since COVID started kind of thing, that if we ever get, the dispensation is lifted and it's, like you're no longer dispensed from the sacraments or whatever, the church will be smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
and the church is smaller than we think it is.
Yeah.
And
Well, and if the dispensation is lifted, you're preaching to the choir. The people that really care about that are already back in your pews.
right. I mean, yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden people are like, well, fine, I've been gone for a year. I guess
Right.
it's time to go back because they made it a mortal sin again. Like that's
Right. You're right.
Whoop, well,
You're right.
they made it a moral sin.
Going to hell
Gotta
now.
go back now.
Can't miss another Sunday.
Yeah, dude. Oh, I love the simplicity of that. Thank you, Matt Regitz. I love the simplicity of that. I mean, what is that? That we have stacked religion on top of this mystery and miracle and sacrament that I get to receive. Like that's become religion. And I mean, we knew this before the pandemic, right? The Pew survey that showed that
Right.
what was it? Over half of all Catholics, don't believe in the true presence of the Eucharist. Maybe it will be smaller. Cool.
Right. Which, I mean, I guess that's okay. And that gives, and, I don't know. That gives those of us who are investing.
I think it might have been B16, Renee.
Mhm.
Was it not David who predicted the church?
We
will
can
become
look
smaller?
that up,
Yeah,
but
maybe.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's true. It is true. I mean, Christianity had its run on the world.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, somebody said we're in a post-Christian world, and others are saying no, we're in a pre-Christian world again.
Who said that?
I like that. Mhm.
Just talking about like post-Christian world, post-Christian
Right.
society. They said no, we're back to pre-Christian again. Like it's not just it's like needing to be evangelized for the first time, not like just revved up again.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole idea of the new evangelization, right? Is that And I know
A new evangelization.
No,
A new
no.
one.
What
A
I
new evangelization.
stop the
New-
new evangelization.
That's in Emily's contact.
That's evangelization new.
New evangelization new.
Evangelization old. Evangelization new. Evangelization
new
new.
evangelization old.
New evangelization new.
No, that the whole idea of the event. I mean, if you look at the history of the church, right, and it takes forever for any, so like this whole idea of new evangelization and the doors were flung open. Well, there's a whole bunch of like cobwebs and all of those other things that have to get out and like, whatever. I just think that it'll be a long time.
And we haven't even mentioned diocesan
That time.
structures in that, right? When you're talking about parish life and parish structure,
Right.
Don't forget that there's diocesan structures that can be a little heavy on top of the parish or move at a fraction of the speed and innovation that a parish or a parish priest might.
Right.
Some priests.
Some dioceses, just full disclosure.
Yeah,
Of course.
right. But you're right. Like if you've got a guy, I mean, I've said this forever, and I really say this now. So if you're watching Cardinal DiNardo, listen.
He won't.
Dude, if you've got a guy that's just like doing a great job,
Yeah.
and he's our priest and he's our person, and he baptized and married, and it's like if he hasn't
So in other words,
done something evil,
he's part of your family and you call him father. Okay, continue.
yeah. Why? Like unless we are still just covering up people because they've done something evil, which we apparently are not anymore. Why move them? Please, for the love of everything that's holy about a parish, I need my father
Amen.
Big fat.
through the long haul. I can't have him for 7 years.
I tell you what, we've got a lot of 2021 at our parish. Our new pastor gets installed on Saturday.
Wow. That's crazy too. I know. I was thinking about
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I mean, it's part of parish life lately. I feel like, I don't know, just to go through those seasons, but
Yeah, it is. It is.
I don't know. It's not pretty.
You got a kid
Well-
there? I want to see a kid.
Yeah.
Come
me a
here.
kid.
He's knocking on the window. It must be bedtime, eh?
Yeah.
What time is it?
Yeah, we got to go too. I hear a kid lurking in my refrigerator. Come here, a kid lurking in my
Did
refrigerator.
y'all see Lucia earlier trying to make tea
Making tea.
over there?
Some sort of-
Say hi, everybody.
Hey.
Hey! Oh my gosh, you are so big.
That's a grown up
This
boy right
is my
there.
baby. This is my baby.
That is not a baby.
Here's my baby.
Trisha,
Here's my
I'm not a
baby.
stepmom.
She's a baby.
Like your hat.
That's awesome.
Oh, look at that slow-mo laugh.
Aw.
So cute.
So good. There's one of my babies who's not a
Oh my
baby.
goodness.
Mm-mm.
Good night,
10-year-old
baby.
Is that Lucia?
Yeah.
Lucia.
Lucia needs to go to bed.
Are you making tea?
I was.
Tea time?
Tea time with Lucia.
So Lucia, so you know, all the Regitz clan kids miss the Hickman kids a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? They're moving. I'm just saying. they're
Next
moving.
door.
In general. No, in general, they're moving.
You said that. We did not say that.
They're not, and they have, there's an opportunity to move right now.
No pressure. No
No
pressure.
pressure. No pressure. I mean,
Imagine how
I'm-
much we could get done
I'm
if
in-
we didn't live
yeah,
an hour
I mean,
away.
I think we have a few, you know, I have 5 girls. You know, you have
3
3
boys.
boys, and
The
I have
ages-
3 boys, and you have 1 girl.
1 girl.
You got those are some numbers.
If I'm a gambling guy,
We should just do like a dance.
a mixer,
A mixer.
A mixer.
Oh
a
my
Regitz
gosh.
Hickman mixer.
Or that was actually a really good idea. As far as no, like all your friends, like all like get together all your friends' kids. Like I would allow my kid to marry into that family, that family, that family. Get them all together for a mixer.
That's why
It's
you
river.
Ask Dom how he feels about that.
That's the river.
It's the river.
How does Dom feel about that? Not good, right?
You have
Can I say
4.
what-
Nobody's arranging any
How I
marriages.
feel about arranged marriage?
No, we didn't say that.
We're
We
not
said you
arranging
have
marriage.
4 families to choose from. That's not arranged.
That's definitely arranged.
No, it's
That's
not.
just a boundary.
4 out of
It's just a boundary.
how many in the world?
Well, it is. It will be arranged. You're gonna arrange it.
Hey, can I say what Quinn said at
We
Matt?
can up the odds with families of like 11 or, you know.
Yeah, if you threw the Nivers in, that's kind of a game changer.
Ooh, that ups your.
So no, I think that's why we have whoever gets married first. See, then we just have a wedding, and then everybody we invite to the wedding, you can choose from that group.
I
Yeah,
get
right?
married. I invite all y'all to my wedding.
There we okay, Emily.
There
our
we
hopes
go.
rest on you.
There we go.
There was a time in history where this created problems.
Good
Yeah.
boy,
Name will
good
be-
But
boy.
Renee, but think about this. How many catering gigs would you have if we just started, you know,
throwing weddings.
right, one after
Think about
another?
it.
Think about it.
Think about it. Just think about it.
I like how she's cautioning us though. Like,
I know.
you know, guys.
You
Yeah.
know, guys, this is not wise.
Mhm.
It's just a boundary.
That's just a boundary.
It was. It's true. It's just a boundary. You can choose from this. I mean, I like it. Appropriate boundaries.
That's right. Is that how you spell boundary in
Canadian.
Leave her alone.
It is.
I'm
She,
just
her
asking.
first language was
I didn't know.
French, I think.
Yes, of course.
It
Oh,
is.
that's a spelling thing. Then, all right.
Yeah.
This is how
Is it-
started.
Is she in Canada?
So
She
communist.
is. Renee is in Canada. Yes.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I'm gonna get this
Ontario.
wrong. Ontario area?
Ontario.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the middle, right?
No, it's Toronto-ish.
She lives
It is
outside
the
of
middle.
Toronto.
Is that middle?
Detroit. I think.
like
Do you
it's
say
more like-
Detroit or Detroit?
Well, she's not gonna be able to.
Detroit.
Yeah,
Sure.
but yeah, she's not staying in Canada for long. She's moving to Texas. She's
Yep.
moving to Southwest.
Oh,
See?
yes.
Renee's
Yes.
moving to Southwest.
Is that
Houston.
hand-
Down here.
I'm so delayed. I just had a hand signal from like 5 minutes ago.
I know. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We're gonna figure it out one day.
We'll
One of these
figure it out.
days.
Not
Good
today.
thing only 4 people were on.
maybe.
Max was like 8 at one point.
Hey, there we go.
Or 7.
Well,
Maybe-
yeah, we'll get better
maybe
as we
try
go along.
Zoom.
We're
I don't
hey,
know.
think about this. We're better than we were last year. This is how I look at things. I mean, we just
because we weren't doing anything last year.
and we did. We had an interview with that. We did a podcast with them.
Oh yeah, I was in here. That's the year I went.
On
See
the back
that?
porch,
They've got
that was
divine
the-
renovation at their parish in Bradford.
Yes. Okay. So when I was telling Renee about you, Matt, she was like, "Oh, yeah," or I was telling her something about divine renovation. She's like, "Oh yeah, I know a lot about it. We have it at our parish."
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, what a small world.
Kieran.
Things are about to go downhill in
Yeah,
our
I
house.
think
Okay.
the wheels are coming
Hey,
off.
Yeah,
we love you guys.
Love
That
you.
yeah, it was really great catching up. So happy that y'all joined us. We love you, and
Love
yeah, let's
you
stay in
guys.
Love
touch.
you
Let's
back.
hang out in real life in RL. Is that how you say it? Is that
IRL.
IRL?
I think it's IRL.
Oh,
and
in RL.
Say
Yeah.
bye.
That's what I was saying. Love y'all.
Love
Love
y'all.
you.
Peace.
Peace. Bye.
Good
Bye,
dreams.
love y'all.
Thank you, patrons. We love you.
And Down Rock Creative.
Downright Creative, Paulatino, you're the best. Anybody else who watches this, if you happen to be in DC on the 28th, so that's like next Thursday,
A week from
a week from tomorrow. Yeah, come see me. Actually, I think I'm gonna be in Arlington in the Cathedral. Yes. Cathedral
That's
in
like
Arlington.
DC area.
It is DC, but hey, anyway. All right. Love you. Good night.